Welcome to the 24-day challenge beginner A program. I'm going to jump right into the objectives here. My assumption is that you're wanting to burn fat and build lean muscle. So we got to talk about how that's going to happen. Now understand this, first of all, this might be stating the obvious, but you got to really take this to heart. We've got to work hard here. We've got to get uncomfortable. And the idea is that the old saying goes that if you want to know what to do in the gym, do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. And so with that, we're not going to be on the ellipticals, we're not going to be on the machines like everybody else is. We're going to do work that's going to help us work efficiently and get the results that we're looking for. Now, for our objectives, we have to take an anaerobic approach to our training. In other words, where we spike the heart rate up and down, and that's going to maximize more fat burn. So it's not going to be this steady state heart rate going through. We want to get it up, a little bit of heavy breathing, calm down as we keep our tempo going pretty aggressively during the program. Resistance training will be used. That's the best form of anaerobic training that we can employ because it does get the heart rate spiked up and calm down. Not to mention you're also recruiting a lot of muscle during resistance training, at least the way we're going to do it. We're going to do multi-joint movements, stay away from the single joint movements like bicep curls and tricep kickbacks and knee extensions. We're going to recruit a lot of muscle in our movements. We're going to do so efficiently, and that's going to allow us to burn fat not only while we're training, but more so even after we finish the workout for the day. You'll continue to burn fat efficiently between workouts. As for your program execution, as you look at your spreadsheet here, notice it's set up as a 4-week program. You would work out 3 days per week with a day of rest in between. So for the purpose of this explanation here, we'll use a Monday, Wednesday, Friday format. Now that doesn't mean that you can't do any form of exercise in the days in between, say Tuesday and Thursday, but you don't need to do resistance training because this is going to be a total body program and we want to allow the muscles to recover on the days in between. Now you can complement this with some other form of cardio on the days in between, but don't do this resistance program back-to-back days. As you look at your spreadsheet, you'll see different rep counts. I'm referring to the times 10, times 12, times 8. Now the idea is to do the select weights for week 1, the first 2 days, where you would be doing an exercise for about 10 reps, to where by the time you get to 8, 9, 10 reps, you're being pushed. On the 3rd day, say it's Friday of week 1, you see your reps would change to 12 reps. So your weights would likely go down as your reps went up. That would carry over into the first session of week 2. The second session of week 2, if you see a times 8, you would adjust your reps down to 8, which means you would probably be adding weight to your exercise to complement the change in rep counts. And you see that rep count repeats itself for 4 weeks. A couple sessions at 10, a couple sessions at 12, a couple sessions at 8, and then the process starts over once again in week 3. Next thing, as you look at your exercises there, for the Beginner A program, there's 4 exercises listed. And there's a balance of exercises there in which you have pushing patterns, pulling patterns, upper body, lower body, core specific. So there's a balance. We're not just targeting one point of the body. We're recruiting a lot of muscle in these movements. Now as you look at your block there, you see 4 exercises once again, and you're going to perform those 4 exercises consecutively. So you would go from the shoulder press to the squat to the low row to the rollout. Now the idea is as you advance through your 4 weeks, you would gradually add volume. In other words, more sets to your exercise. Maybe day 1, beginner A, you just go through, you do 1 quality set of each exercise, call it a day. Maybe day 2 of week 1, you come back and you add an extra set. You would go through the 4 consecutive, maybe you come back and say, oh, I'm going to double back and add a second set to the low row today. Maybe day 3, you add a second set to the shoulder press and the squat. So by day 3, you're going press, squat, row, roll out. You come back up to the top again, press, squat, low row. So that's how you add volume. And hopefully by the end of week 2, beginning of week 3, you're comfortably performing at least 2 sets of each of those exercises, maybe even adding a 3rd set in preparation for the Beginner B program that would follow. Now very quickly, you see warm up and cool down. I'm not going to get very specific about your warm up and cool down. I'm just saying the warm up, I would suggest just something to get your core temperature up. Maybe draw a little bead of sweat here or there. Maybe it's just body weight squats. Maybe it's some jump rope. Maybe it's running in place. Just anything to get your heart rate up and your body ready to go for activities. The cool down is simply just maybe taking a 2 to 3 minute walk on a treadmill. Let your body calm down after the exercise. Now as you look at the exercises itself, you're getting individual videos with each of these exercises, but I'll give you some little coaching cues here in each one. The stability ball, single arm shoulder press. You want to sit tall in the stability ball, tighten up your midsection there, stabilize that. For a day of 10 reps, you'd perform 10 reps on your right, 10 reps on your left, and that would equal one set there. But stand tall, pull your shoulders back, your chest up, and you want to hold posture while you're performing that movement. Otherwise, watch the video for the way that it is performed. For the dumbbell goblet box squat, make sure your first movement is pushing your hips back. That's why the box or bench or whatever you can sit back to is listed there. That's encouraging you to push your hips back and not make it too much of an initial movement at the knees. You want to think hips back and then hips through at the top. Notice you really want to squeeze your glutes through at the top to get that extra activity done there. It's just a tap on the box or the bench, whatever you're using. Don't deload yourself. Just tap it for depth. If you can get that depth, then you can add risers to whatever box or bench you might be using if you can't get all the way down there. But just keep yourself consistent, honest on that depth. The tall kneeling low row, the tall kneeling position, what that does is you want to have a hips tall, hips extended position. That helps you recruit more glute activity there, get those glutes tight to keep your hips tall. Also, you want to really tighten up your midsection once again. As you perform that low row position, keep your shoulders back, chest forward. Think pull through the elbows rather than pulling with your hands. Obviously your hands are gripping the equipment, but you want to pull through the elbows to emphasize the elbows getting back deep and flexing the back. And then finally, the stability ball rollout. That is a core-specific movement in which we're training the anterior core, which is the abs, but you're training it to stabilize the spine and not go into hyperextension. You want to treat the abs as a muscle group part of the core that prevents movement in the low back in the core region. You're not going to be performing crunches or any sort of movement here where we promote movement. We actually want to resist movement in the core region there. So as you watch that, notice how the hips stay tall. It keeps the glutes turned on, the core turned on. The closer the ball is to your body, the easier the exercise is, the further it is away. Obviously, it's going to make it a little bit tougher on you. So adjust the ball relative to where you need it. That's one there. You might end up treating it like a burnout because there's not really a weight load in there, but you can adjust the ball for different resistance there.